Hi guys, I'm Smithers, and I just picked up this go-kart for my kids. Got on the road, had it, and his boys outgrew it. And he said he wanted to see it go to good use. He told me to bring it home, and I told him I didn't have any money really, and he said I could barter with him or do a little carpentry or welding. Whatever the man needs, I'm good for it. But I got to looking at the thing, and it does need a little bit of work. The motor has a 2.5 horse motor in it, but that motor's shot, and I have one I'm gonna replace it with, and I want to put these seat rails so I can make the seat adjustable, slide it back and forth. Those came on these buggy seats when I bought them. I had to take them off and mount those seats in solid, and I kept those, and I think I can maybe get those to work. This motor I got from my good buddy Rob, I did a little bartering. It was a pressure washer. It's a 4 horse Honda motor. Has a horizontal shaft, spins in the right direction, and it's going to take a little modification to make it fit and make it work, but I think I can make it happen. The other problem I have, the thing sits really low to the ground. There's only a couple inches of clearance, and these chip and seal roads in my neighborhood, that might not work. I'm gonna see if I can maybe raise the frame a little bit. But like I say, I'm gonna tear this thing down and see how extensive I want to get into this project. As I stripped this go-kart down into the bare frame, I got the body hanging up here and the extra parts and stuff. One thing I noticed, this throttle cable is kind of kinked up. It doesn't move very freely. I'm going to replace that. Also, when I moved the seat all the way back, I realized that I may actually be able to fit in this thing and test drive it, so I'm pretty excited about that. Looking at it, I think it'll be easy enough to raise this thing up a little bit. I'm just going to have to drop this rear axle down, and this front axle where it's bent up on each side, I'm just going to replace that with a straight bar, and it should give me another couple inches of clearance that I need. So it'll take a little welding and fabricating, but I think I can make that happen easy enough. I got my motors out up here. I was kind of comparing them. I think I can make it work. I need to take this water pump off and see if I can mount the clutch on it first of all, and then see what all I gotta swap over from the old motor. One thing I do know, this exhaust points directly at the body of the go-kart, so I'm gonna have to fab up a exhaust pipe that reroutes it out the back. And this pull string, I'm gonna unbolt it and turn it a quarter turn, see if I can pull on it in an upward direction, because it's in the way of that back fin. So I'm gonna start taking some pieces off of these and see if I can make it work. Also, this has a little kill switch button that goes up by the steering wheel. I need to figure out what that's wired up to and swap that over to this motor. So I'm gonna kind of dig into this and see if I'm pretty confident I can make it happen, but it's just a matter of how much work it's gonna take. Well guys, I got this clutch mounted on it. It was a good fit. Same shaft coming out. I had to fabricate a couple parts back here. I had to add a spring mount here. The throttle will pull a little bit different now that it's operating from a foot pedal, and there were some parts I didn't need to use and stuff. I had to make this bracket. It holds the throttle cable that attaches right here, and I got this wire hooked up for the kill switch. When I got to the exhaust, I got in here, one bolt was already broke off and the other snapped right off real easily, so I need to address those. I deal with this kind of stuff all the time, and I could tap it out, but really it's easier for me just to weld a couple threaded studs sticking out of that, and then I'll put a nut on the other side. This is the header pipe I started to fab, so I can route the exhaust out the back, and I'm going to use this silencer. But like I say, I need to address these bolts first, bolt the header on, and then I can get the rest of the exhaust welded up. Guys, I just welded these exhaust studs on. I'm gonna go ahead and bolt this header pipe on, continue bolting the rest of the exhaust, and I have an exhaust gasket here I'll put in. The studs were a little bit longer than they need to be. It's easier to hold on to and weld them straight when they're longer. I'll bolt it up and then trim them down. Well, guys, I just finished up the exhaust. I got it all welded up and it's done. I had to add this second mount here to help support it, and I got lucky on the motor mount bolts. They lined it up with the old bolt pattern, so I didn't have to modify anything there. But I got everything reassembled and I just put some fuel in it. I'm getting ready to try to fire it up, see what the exhaust sounds like. And I was also able to turn this pull string, so I'll be able to pull it in the right direction now. So I got this wire rigged in. I'll be able to pull the throttle, and this green one I'll just have to ground it out to kill the motor. So let's go ahead and fire this thing up. Well, guys, it runs fine. It wouldn't start with the air filter that was in it. It was oil soaked, so I started up without one. I'm gonna have to pick one up for it. But what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take the motor back off and then focus on the frame modifications I wanted to do. Guys, I'm getting ready to cut and re-weld this rear axle. I can gain about 1.5 inches by dropping it down to that frame rail there. So I'm getting ready to cut it and weld it. Guys, on the front here, I was going to replace this whole bar with a straight bar, but what's even easier, I'm just going to chop it off and drop this down, re-weld it the same distance that I dropped the rear. Well, guys, I just got done welding this frame all up. I had to modify a lot of things to gain a little more ground clearance, and this front end turned out pretty good. I was able to gain 1.5 inches front and back, and I put a lot of time in this front end as far as making sure everything was aligned and the wheels sitting plumb so it goes straight down the road. On the rear end here, I dropped this axle, got it all welded in. I also had to move this motor mount a little bit. I welded these bars back in that hold the rear fin, and I had to add 1.5 inches of height to those so the fin clears the top of the motor. Another thing I'm going to have to weld is I'm going to have to cut these body mounts off and make ones that are a couple inches taller, since I dropped this axle for the body to sit in the right place. I'm fine in the front end with those ones, but I also need to get to work on these seat sliders, and then I should be about done welding. Guys, I think the build is complete. I think I'm done with all my modifications and welding, and I'll show you some of the things I had to do. When I corrected these body mounts and installed the body on, I was hitting on my header pipe here, so I had to move the motor back. I had to replace this chain with a new one that was a couple links longer, and I put a little heat shield on here. And when I moved the motor back, the gas tank used to be right here, and it was hitting on this bar. So I made new mounts over here, and this motor doesn't have to gravity feed. It actually has a fuel pump on it, so that tank's fine where it's mounted. I put a new throttle cable on it, and I got these seat sliders in with this lever here. I can move the seat all the way back for me or all the way up to the wheel so my kids can reach. And I'll tell you, this motor off this pressure washer was never meant to go on a go-kart. It's fought me the whole way, but I kind of refuse to be defeated on it at this point. And one other thing on this wing here, I put another heat shield for this exhaust, and I put a tip that kind of faces down there. So like I say, I think the mock-up's complete, and what I need to do now, I did so much welding and grinding on this frame that it all needs repainted now. So I'm going to strip it all back down and wire wheel it clean and get some black paint on it. Well guys, I got everything hung up and I got a coat of paint on everything. I'm going to let this dry overnight, and then tomorrow when it's all dry I'll be able to start reassembly on everything. Well guys, it's Saturday assembly day, and I got my best mechanic on the job here helping out. There it is guys, all the way assembled. Everything's finished, it's ready for its first test drive. I got some fuel in it and it's all wired up. I got a kill switch up here for the motor now, and the only thing that's really left on this project is fixing this, but I'm going to fix that at a later date. So I'm going to go ahead and get this thing off the stand and see how it runs.